My production mostly followed the conventions of a documentary. Encrypted opens with a selection of clips, firstly consisting of typed words, which, for me, I made the decision to open my documentary in that way to firstly intrigue the audience, engage them, and to make them sort of question, obviously, what the documentary is about. The archive footage plays the role as, firstly, as a slight exposition, in the respect that it informs the audience of the themes that are covered, the sort of atmosphere of the documentary, but also I was particular in selecting those clips of archive footage because, for me, I wanted to find archive footage which would illustrate the changes of technology that have happened over the last few years. Firstly, I felt personally that it would provide a technological feel and atmosphere to the production, but also to give quite subtle connotations to the sense of disorder in the documentary, but also to foreshadow the narrative. First selection of interviews we used to outline the development of technology. I wanted to really emphasise the idea of change and just how fast it had advanced. I wanted to focus strongly on portraying a true sense of actuality throughout the documentary because it serves the purpose to educate and inform the audience. Similarly to real media products, I tried to gain a variety of opinions when conducting interviews. Again, this was linked to a truthful portrayal of actuality, but also to try and appeal to a wider target audience. I picked a soundtrack with a sinister atmosphere to try and reinforce the narrative and stylised depiction of the threats individuals face online.
Things like Sony.
There are small sections of the track that include sounds that are similar to technology.
During their slack time, when the user didn't know their computer was actually being used to help perpetrate that hack.
Again, this went well with my documentary because it emphasised the sense of danger linked to computers. From conducting extensive research into documentaries and their conventions, I'd built up an idea of the types of different camera angles and shots that I could use. I experimented with camera focus and incorporated techniques such as bokeh. This helped to create quite a stylised and modern atmosphere for my documentary. I did want to create an original documentary. I didn't want to stick to every convention, so I chose to avoid the typical voice of God narration by using interviews and cutaways to reinforce my narrative thread, similar to a documentary called Blackfish. I think as a whole, my documentary mostly followed the conventions, but there were aspects which I wanted particularly to challenge.